In early 2026, a chilling narrative ripped through the internet. 11 American scientists, all supposedly tied to top-secret nuclear and aerospace research, were suddenly turning up dead or vanishing without a trace. The rumors rapidly escaped Reddit message boards and triggered formal inquiries on Capitol Hill, with the House Oversight Committee demanding answers from federal agencies about a possible targeted assassination campaign. The panic reached all the way to the Oval Office. President Trump authorized the Pursue declassification system to release government UFO files, attempting to quell public fears of a shadow government cover-up. The nation is currently mobilizing against a ghost. These 11 missing people represent something more mundane than a spy plot, a catastrophic failure of basic statistical literacy. Human brains are hardwired for a psychological glitch called apophenia. It is our natural tendency to look at completely random, disconnected melees and artificially construct a meaningful pattern out of it. This list of missing researchers is a textbook product of that bias, a collection of random data points mistaken for a pattern by a public that can't do the math. To solve this mystery, we don't need top-secret security clearances. We just need to rigorously audit the data. The frenzy started in February 2026, when retired Air Force Major General William McCasland left his home for a walk and never returned. Because he once commanded a research lab, internet sleuths started scouring the news for other missing aerospace or nuclear scientists to fit the story. But to build their list, they had to manipulate the data pool. If you look at the names they actually compiled, the definition of a cleared scientist is incredibly loose. The list includes an administrative assistant running from financial stress and a contract property custodian. They even included a biologist who studied comets in the public domain before passing away from a heart attack. By broadening the definition of who counts as a target, conspiracy theorists engineered a mystery out of unrelated individuals living unrelated lives. That brings us to the core mathematical failure driving the panic, the base rate fallacy. Hearing that 11 government researchers have died flags a number as suspiciously high. But to know if a number is actually high, you have to know the total size of the population they are drawn from. Look at this grid. Each dot represents a worker in the U.S. aerospace and nuclear sectors. There are roughly 700,000 people holding top-secret clearances in these fields right now. Apply standard national mortality and accident rates to a group that massive over a 4-year period. Statistical probability dictates that hundreds of these people will die of natural causes, suicides, or accidents every few years. The conspiracy theory isolates 11 of those cases and presents them as a targeted purge. Next to the expected baseline of several hundred normal deaths, those 11 cases represent a tiny fraction of a percent. Mathematically, this spike in mortality sits squarely within the tragic, expected background noise of human existence. Proponents still point to the geography. If it's just background noise, they ask, why do these deaths cluster tightly around highly secretive facilities in California and New Mexico? This is the Texas sharpshooter fallacy. Imagine firing a shotgun blindly at the side of a barn, and then painting a bullseye directly around the tightest cluster of bullet holes. You look like a perfect shot, but only because you drew the target after the facts were in. Internet sleuths acted exactly like that sharpshooter. They ignored national mortality data and exclusively hunted for obituaries tied to famous UFO-friendly zip codes, like NASA's Jet Propulsion Lab in Pasadena. They applied the same filter to Los Alamos, isolating missing person reports near atomic weapon warning signs, while ignoring identical deaths at facilities in Alabama or Washington State. Finding a cluster of events is inevitable if you only go looking for data inside a cluster you've already decided is suspicious. When you strip away the sci-fi narrative, you are left with the agonizing reality of how these individuals actually passed away. They suffered from Alzheimer's. They fought depression. They were killed in random carjackings. We've seen General McCasland's wife forced to publicly beg people to stop talking about alien motherships. We've seen the family of Michael Hicks, who died of chronic heart disease, watch his memory get hijacked by podcasters trying to monetize a tragedy. The damage scales up to our institutions. Local sheriffs, the FBI, and members of Congress are burning through millions of taxpayer dollars chasing an internet ghost. Statistical illiteracy is not a victimless crime. It actively exploits grieving families and derails legitimate government functions. This panic was engineered through social media lists and niche segments on News Nation, where independent researchers packaged unrelated tragedies into a single viral narrative. By padding the list with mundane deaths and ignoring the hundreds of thousands of researchers who didn't die, they created the illusion of a trend. Politicians and reporters followed the engagement, bringing these rumors into White House press briefings and official hearings. They prioritized satisfying a public primed by sensational headlines over a sober review of the base rates. The missing scientists panic proves exactly how fragile our information ecosystem really is. When a society lacks basic statistical literacy, the distance between a baseless Reddit theory and a formal White House inquiry completely disappears.